Welcome to my review of Just Cause 3. In this review, I will be discussing the content, environment, combat and the game itself. So first we start off with a little bit about the game. In December 2015, Just Cause 3 was released after fans waited 5 years for the sequel. Just Cause 3 was developed by Avalanche Studios and published by Square Enix. The game is a free roam single player or multiplayer third person action game. The player plays the protagonist, Rico Rodriguez. Rico has been in all 3 games in the Just Cause series. The game mainly consists of Rico and the rebels fighting the enemy, who is the evil dictator of Medici and his army. Rico fights the dictator by liberating villages that the dictator and his army have taken. The overall display of the game is very well set out, and a lot of key features in the series have been improved, such as the storyline, GPS layout, and added plenty of new features. One of these features is the race challenges, where you have to use a vehicle to drive through the checkpoint before the time runs out. There is an option to play online multiplayer where you and your friends can cause ultimate chaos for the evil dictator. Avalanche Studios have also released DLCs that you can purchase with some extra storyline features and also vehicles, guns and a sky fortress. The game is set in Medici. Medici is a fictional nation that is the birthplace of the protagonist, Rico Rodriguez. Through my research for the video, I have found that Avalanche Studios was so keen for the environment to stand out above the competition, they even paid to send a team to Monaco for some inspiration to design and model the landscape of Medici. Avalanche Studios considered such areas as an untapped resource. The world size is 400 square miles and is composed of 5 major biomes, each with having unique landmarks and landscapes. The look of the landscape is very impressive with a high range of colours and beautiful formations. The attention to detail is very high quality. The currency in Medici is dollars, and that is how you upgrade, repair and purchase weapons and vehicles. There are many different structures and architecture in the game, ranging from cities to satellite stations to cultural villages and many airports. The locals of Medici are very interactive and sometimes thank you as you walk past them. Now to content. One of the main features in the content is the vehicles. There is a big variety of vehicles to choose from in Just Cause 3. There are boats, cars, bikes, motorbikes, planes, armoured vehicles and even a hovercraft. These vehicles can be customized by the player and can be used as weapons with upgrades such as nitro boost and a jumping ability. There are plenty of places to discover all across the map, with acres and acres of space to play around in. In Just Cause 3 there are many different ways to get around, not just including vehicles. Rico is equipped with a grappling hook, wingsuit and a parachute. Rico can use his grappling hook to grapple 4 objects together. By doing this you can drive a vehicle with objects tethered to it and drag them along. Another main feature of the content in Just Cause 3 is obviously the storyline. I won't spoil anything about the story, so I'm not going to discuss it very much. The game isn't really based on the story, but it is very well thought out and very thrilling to play. The studio was clearly more focused on players exploring the world and having fun in the sandbox mode. A new mechanic called Rebel Drop was introduced. It allows the player to pause the game, select equipment, weapons and vehicles. The selected objects are dropped into the game's world and can be used by players. The game also features challenge modes. It includes mini-games like wingsuit races and the destruction frenzy mode, in which new objectives and challenges are unlocked when the player destroys an enemy base. In Just Cause 2, players were able to stand on top of moving vehicles, but only in the centre. Players are allowed to move around more freely on vehicles in Just Cause 3. Lastly, we go on to discussing combat. In terms of combat, Rico has a big selection of ranged weapons, which include automatic rifles, rocket launchers, snipers and plenty more. He also has a lot of melee weapons and takedown options, including tethering 2 or more enemies together. There are various different ways of approaching a combat situation. The obvious ways are to either use stealth and liberate the base undetected, or go in all guns blazing. Avalanche Studios have done a very good job with the combat, as Rico has the options to use objects around him to help him defeat nearby enemies. You can tether enemies to almost anything and each other, so obviously there are hours of fun to be had with this game. Final review. I have decided to rate the environment as a 10 out of 10 because of how much time and effort has gone into perfecting the landscape and all the little details like the trees and the wildlife. The content is a 9 out of 10 because even though Just Cause 3 has plenty of content, once you have completed all of the content, that is it. Lastly, I have rated the combat 9 out of 10 because again, the game has a lot of combat features, but I would like to see a bigger variety of weapons and especially more melee weapons. Overall, Just Cause 3 scored 28 out of 30. This is a very good game and one of my best buys. I recommend it. This concludes my review video. Thank you for watching.